here to tell you this. Stephanie White has found herself in Charlotte's Web. And I didn't even trip off this earlier today. But shout out to Ben Daniel, man, because it had dawned on me, which I think they lying, that technically, based off what they're saying, Caitlin Clark is not cleared to play 5-on-5.
Stephanie White just got caught slipping again, and this time doctors are calling her out on camera. The so-called minor injury story about Caitlin Clark just fell apart, and fans are fuming. It's giving full-blown damage control. Question is, how long did Stephanie think she could keep this lie running before the receipts showed up? So let's get into this. Stephanie White and the Indiana Fever thought they could play doctor and PR manager at the same time. Bad idea.
Now, y'all know me, man. I got to come with the facts. And the fact of the matter is, Stephanie White is looking real spooky. Now, this was back in July. Now, this is just one doctor. Oh, we got two. Let's listen to this. Let's just have a rewind back.
Another groin strain. This is the other side. As we talked about with the first one on the left side coming back after the quad, day-to-day is not accurate for even a minor groin strain. It was closer to 2 weeks before she returned, played well, and now the other side, the right side. It is unclear what imaging shows, but once again, the new groin strain is not day-to-day. She's already missing the All-Star game in the three-point contest. The question is how much more? We won't know until we know about the imaging details, which were not revealed. But in any case, it's not day-to-day, closer to week.
It all started back in July when they called Caitlin Clark's injury a groin strain. You know, the type of injury they said was day-to-day, except doctors are now saying, no, that's not how groin injuries work. See, a sports doctor came out and broke down the timeline. He said straight up, a groin strain is never day-to-day. It's week to week at best. That means when the Fever told us Caitlin was just resting for a few days, they were already lying through their teeth. And here's the crazy part. This wasn't even her first one. The doctor listed the whole pattern. May 26th, left quad strain. July 5th, left groin strain. July 16th, right groin strain. That's 3 injuries in less than 2 months. But Stephanie White called them all minor. Minor? Girl, at that point, her legs were screaming for a vacation.
She basically says Caitlin Clark is not cleared. Now, I did the first video. Now, this is from another doctor back in July breaking down a time frame of Caitlin Clark injury. Listen to this. This was on July the 16th. Now, this is when Caitlin Clark injuries happened, right? It says Caitlin Clark injury history, left quad strain, May the 26th, left a groin strain, July 5th, right groin strain, July 16th. He said initially he thought the strain she suffered last night was a re-injury, but realized that it wasn't. Obviously, we know that. Now, this was all the reports that was released by the Indiana Fever front office. Out status. This was all within
The doctor even said it was closer to a month-long recovery, not a few days. So while fans were waiting for Caitlin to come back, Stephanie was out here talking about she's tough. She heals fast. Please. That's not how medicine works. This is where it gets good, because now the doctors are back online saying they were never contacted by the Fever to review anything, which basically means the team was making up its own recovery timeline. PR over player health. Great job, coach. And fans are not stupid. They've been keeping track of this nonsense for months. One fan said no one believes a single word coming out of Stephanie White's mouth. Another said she's the biggest liar in the league. And honestly, I can't even argue with that, because if you go back and watch the interviews, and I did, Stephanie contradicted herself like 5 times in 2 months. First it's a minor strain, then it's day-to-day, then it's she'll be fine next week, then suddenly we're hearing she's not cleared for 5-on-5 yet. So she can't scrimmage, but she can travel with the team and sit courtside. Make that make sense. And here's the funny part, even back then, Caitlin was refusing to see the Fever's medical staff. She was literally getting checked by her own doctor. That should have been a giant red flag right there. If your star player doesn't trust the team's doctors, something's wrong. But instead of being honest about what was happening, Stephanie kept throwing out the same robot lines. We're taking it one day at a time. She's in good spirit. We'll know more after the imaging. Girl, we heard that speech 12 times.
Guess what, Stephanie White? This is you right here. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me get out of this full screen here. This is when? May the 26th. This was Stephanie White. Listen.
Steph, do you know when Caitlin's injury happened?
I don't know when it happened. I know afterwards, we got a message that she had something going on with her leg, and they were getting an MRI, and then we got the injury yesterday.
Was it after like the Liberty game on Saturday?
Is that their last game?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's be real. They wanted Caitlin off the court so they could run their system without her, because the moment she touches the ball, the whole offense shifts around her, and Stephanie White hated that. So they played the long game, stretch out the injury, keep saying she's almost back, and buy time to push their weird scheme that clearly wasn't working. And now the truth's out. Doctors have flat out said she should have been back weeks earlier, meaning Stephanie White and the front office basically lied to the media and the fans for months. It's like they forgot the internet exists, because fans pulled up old press conferences where Stephanie called Caitlin's injuries minor setbacks and said she'd probably be ready for next week. Well, next week turned into 6 weeks, and by then, the season was falling apart. You can't call that a setback. That's a cover-up. And don't forget, she kept doing this every year. This isn't new behavior. This is the 3rd season in a row with mystery injuries, secret scans, and we'll see tomorrow nonsense. Same excuse, different year. So when people say instant regret, they mean it, because now every doctor and every reporter is digging up the receipts. Stephanie can't wiggle out of it this time. There's even video from May where she straight up said she didn't know when Caitlin got hurt. She just heard something was going on with her leg. You're the head coach. How do you not know when your star player got hurt? Then a month later, she's on camera saying she knows exactly what happened and that Caitlin's a quick healer. Which one is it, Steph? You can't not know 1 week and then be Dr. White the next. That's why fans are roasting her online. They see through it. They're saying she was protecting her job, not her player. Because if Caitlin came back and the Fever still lost, the blame would be on the coach. So keeping her injured was a safe excuse. And now, after all the cover-ups and contradictions, guess what the doctors are saying? That Caitlin Clark's injury was healed weeks ago. She was cleared for 5-on-5 earlier than they claimed. So why was she still on the sideline? You already know. Stephanie was buying time. She kept talking about mental recovery and slow progression. Nah, you just didn't want her messing up your playbook. And now it's blowing up in her face. Doctors are exposing the timeline, fans are exposing the lies, and reporters are connecting the dots. It's not a good look. At this point, the Indiana Fever should just hold a press conference and say, yeah, we messed up. Because every day they pretend nothing's wrong. They look worse. The funniest part is that they still keep calling it a learning experience. Bro, this isn't a science project. This is a professional league. You can't experiment with your star player's career. And now Stephanie is getting dragged on every platform. Fans are editing clips of her saying day to day over and over with clown music in the background. Somebody even made a meme that said Stephanie White's medical degree was earned on Google Images. Cold but accurate. You gotta laugh because it's so messy, but here's the real issue. When you lie about injuries, you're not just fooling the fans, you're risking the player's future. Caitlin Clark's body is her career. Every bad call from a coach or trainer can cost her millions down the line. So if you know she's hurt, let her heal. Don't pretend it's just tightness, so you can look like a hero when she comes back. That's not coaching, that's PR nonsense. And let's not forget the timing. All this started right when the Fever were trying to make the playoffs. Then boom, Caitlin's hurt. The team loses momentum, and the season collapses. And instead of owning it, Stephanie starts hiding behind medical excuses. Classic move. It's like she thought fans would just forget. But the WNBA community remembers everything. They've got timestamps, screenshots, and every doctor's tweet bookmarked. So when new info dropped this week saying Caitlin was never in danger, fans lost it. Now every interview she does gets bombarded with comments like, tell the truth and you lied about Clark. She can't even post a pumpkin emoji without someone commenting. Still lying? That's what happens when you break trust. Once people see you as dishonest, it's over. And this won't go away soon, because now, other players and analysts are starting to speak up. They're saying this wasn't the first time a coach messed with an injury timeline for PR. So Stephanie's about to become the poster child for bad management. Instant regret doesn't even cover it. This is career-ending kind of regret. You can already see the Fever trying to scrub their deleting old posts, editing quotes, acting like none of this happened. But come on, the internet never forgets. Caitlin Clark is fine now. Doctors say she's healthy and ready to play. But this whole saga proved one thing. Some coaches care more about optics than honesty, and Stephanie White just found that out the hard way. The fallout from this whole mess has been wild. You'd think after getting exposed by actual doctors, Stephanie White would come out, own it, and move on. But no, instead, she's doubling down like nothing happened. She's smiling in pressers, dropping those same one day at a time lines like a broken record. It's almost impressive, the confidence it takes to act this delusional on camera. And now, fans are letting her have it. The Fever's comment section looks like a war zone. Every post, no matter what it's about. Congrats to our interns. Happy birthday, Aaliyah. You'll find 50 people typing "stop lying" about Caitlin under it. That's what happens when you insult people's intelligence. You can't call fans family one day, and then feed them made-up injury updates the next. People care. They watch every game, they follow every press conference, and when you lie to them, they notice. The best part? The doctors who broke the story aren't backing down either. They've been doing interviews explaining exactly why the Fever's version of events made no medical sense. One even said, it's highly unlikely a professional athlete with multiple groin strains could return to full movement in under 2 weeks. Translation, Stephanie White, you're full of it. And the timing of everything makes her look even worse. Remember when she said Caitlin was almost ready, right before that road trip? Yeah. Turns out that was the same week the team quietly filed for extra medical evaluations, which basically means they knew she wasn't close to ready. So not only did they lie, they planned around the lie. That's next level manipulation. Even players from other teams are low-key calling it out without saying her name. One player posted a tweet saying, "Protect your body. They'll smile in your face and ruin your career behind your back." Everybody knew what that was about. And it's not just players, the media's waking up too. Reporters who used to back Stephanie are now starting to turn. One article headline literally said, Fever coaching staff faces credibility crisis.
Yeah, credibility crisis.
That's journalist code for, we caught you lying. But let's go back to the core of this. Why lie in the first place? Because the team was desperate. The Fever season was hanging by a thread, and instead of being transparent, they tried to fake optimism. You know the classic, she's fine, just resting routine. The problem is when you keep saying that for 3 months, people start connecting dots. Fans realize something wasn't right. Caitlin's body language said it all. She wasn't injured anymore. She was frustrated. She wanted to play, and they were holding her back. And if that's true, that's not just bad leadership, that's sabotage. There's this clip floating around from a post-game presser where Stephanie said, "We're being cautious with Caitlin." Meanwhile, she'd already been cleared by her personal doctors to start scrimmaging. You can literally see the assistant coach's face twitch when she says it. Like even he didn't believe what was coming out of her mouth. Now that the receipts are out, everything about her interviews looks off. The fake smiles, the vague medical talk, the she's feeling good lines, all of it looks like damage control in real time. And fans are brutal. One person tweeted, Stephanie White treating Caitlin Clark's recovery like a Netflix cliffhanger. Another wrote, can someone tell the Fever, this isn't the CIA, we can handle the truth. That's the internet for you. They turn everything into a joke, but there's always truth behind the punchlines. At this point, Stephanie White's best move might be to lay low for a while, because every time she opens her mouth, it just gets worse. The internet's calling it the Caitlin cover-up. The memes are flying. And while it's hilarious to watch unfold, it's also sad because this whole thing could have been avoided if honesty had just been the first option. So yeah, instant regret definitely hit, but the damage is already done. Stephanie White wanted control, now she's lost it. The doctors spoke, the fans saw through it, and the truth's out. Caitlin's fine, but that coaching reputation, not so much. What do you think? Should the Fever be punished for this, or just fire her already? Drop your thoughts below, hit like, and don't forget to subscribe for more.